There we go. Sorry for the pause. Kick, for whatever reason, has issues starting up first, so Twitch is like, and it's in there. Kick, however, just takes a little bit longer. And unfortunately, with multi-streaming, the services tend to want different bit rates and all sorts of shit. So, and if you have any lulls in internet, then it goes crazy. So if we lose stream, it should automatically try to reconnect. Whatever. Disclaimer has already been said. This is your host, Samurai KitKat. And yeah, we are talking more about the big beautiful bill. And it's big. It's huge. It's bigly. But again, I'm actually kind of compelled. I've gotten a drive, a motivation to actually talk about this thing. I'm currently working on downloading my first movie, first episode about the first title, so title 1. And I'm going to be posting that to YouTube, so you can watch that at your convenience. But now I'm going to be going over title 2, which is the Committee on Armed Services. Interesting. So, without further ado, let's just get right on into it. So, Section 20,001, this section provides additional funding for the fiscal year of 2025 to the Department of Defense. Beautiful. Anytime we can support our military and get ourselves ahead of the game, even though we are already ahead of the game, we need to always be substantially further and further ahead of any other country. There should be no competition. And we literally seen the fruits of our tax dollars with Midnight Hammer operation with the B-2 bombers. Fucking magnificent. I have never felt so patriotic in my entire life. So if we can do that, but make ourselves even scarier, because that's terrifying, okay? That truly, that's terrifying. So, yeah, I'm all about it. Let's be absolutely fucking terrifying. So, this is for the Marine Corps Barracks 2030 Initiative, the Defense Health Program, supplemental payments of basic allowance for housing to military personnel, that's nice, and tuition assistance and childcare assistance for members of the armed forces. W. All W's all the way around. Like I said, it wouldn't even matter what it said here. If it just said, doing such and such for armed forces, I'm behind it 100%, so long as, of course, it is a benefit. And obviously, everything here, benefit. The section also provides statutory authority to extend from 14 to 21 days eligibility for temporary lodging expense for certain service members undergoing a permanent change of station. Fantastic. That way, they don't have to come out of pocket for, switching between forts and shit like that. So that's cool. Additionally, the section temporarily increases authorized investment amounts and provides additional authorization for acquisition or construction of certain military housing through private contracts. Okay, cool. Section 20,002. This section provides additional funding for the fiscal year 2025 for the shipbuilding industrial base and various naval shipbuilding activities. Oh, our Navy's about ready to get big balls, cranking battleships, subs, frigates, carriers. I mean, the 9 yards, right? That's what, destroyers. Oh, yes. Section 20,003. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for the development of one space-based missile intercept capabilities. What? I'm gonna hold on. I thought we weren't allowed to have anything in space. Now, I know that Trump made Space Force, right? And not saying that was like a weird niche military program or anything like that, but from what I understand, maybe I'm wrong. Let's look this up, because I want to make sure that I'm like right with this ideology, or not ideology, but this information that's in my head. So are the world's countries able to build military military assets in space? I was under the impression you're not allowed to. Like, there was an agreement that we weren't. Okay, so hold on. So it says, yes, countries around the world can build certain military assets in space, but with some significant restrictions governed by international law. The Outer Space Treaty, this is what I was thinking about, which entered into force in 1967, because, obviously we went to the moon, prohibits the placement of nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction in Earth's orbit on celestial bodies like the moon or in outer space. This treaty has been ratified by many nations. Military satellites. Countries can build and deploy satellites, communication, surveillance, intelligence, anti-satellite capabilities. Some nations have developed capabilities that interfere, destroy satellites. Blurring in this right here, the increasing involvement of commercial space entities in military-related activities further blurs the lines between civilian and military use of space. Basically, what is happening is Donald Trump and party are pushing on the line and seeing how far until it gets crossed. And obviously, I have no problem with this. Like I said, we need to be the ones. Right? There's no, oh, well, what about this country too? Fuck them. I don't give a shit about any other fucking country. Fuck them. I want to have fucking death beam laser satellites in space where I could just nuke your fucking town into oblivion if I need to. All right? That is called strength through power. Peace through power. Peace through strength. That's it. Peace through strength. Peace through strength. Let's see here. Who is this? What's this? What's this? Hey, just checked on your stream. You're doing great for someone new on Kick. If you're aiming for verification, more viewers. Well, hey, I appreciate that. I don't know if you're a bot or not. If you are a bot, then you're incredibly fucking elaborate. If you are not a bot, did I say that twice? I didn't mean to. If you are a bot, you're very elaborate. If you're not a bot, well, I'll just naturally grow. But I appreciate your concern. And thank you for your yeah. Anyways, so as I was getting back to the space thing, yeah, the fact of the matter is like we always need to be ahead. And I don't mind at all that we are pushing this kind of capability, because once we have space-based missile intercept capabilities, right? What's stopping us from having space-based missile launching capabilities? Not far behind. And then, look at here. Number 2, military space-based sensors. Wow. To help guide those space-based missiles where they need to go. And 3, the continued development of ground-based missile defense systems and related infrastructure. So basically, this, I think, is part of the Golden Dome. This is part of the Golden Dome. Because Israel's forces and its Iron Dome is all ground-based. The Golden Dome is space-based. And I'm all fucking for it. Beautiful. I love it. Please make it happen. Section 20,004. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for various military weapon systems, including hypersonic, air-to-air, cruise, and anti-ship missiles. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Hypersonic, air-to-air, cruise, and anti-ship missiles. Basically, we're going to have so many fucking missiles, we're not even going to know what to do with them. Like, they're just going to give them out to the public and just like, hey, put this in your backyard and store it for later. We might need that for some reason. It's wonderful. Section 20,005. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 to expand the Small Unmanned Aerial System industrial base, to advance the use of artificial intelligence in these and other systems, and to support the integration of commercial developments in military technology. So this is where part of that AI is coming from, where we have now that AI bill that got passed, so that we are the front and foremost of all AI technology. So this is where some of this is going. And I'm, again, all for it. The less boots on the ground that we can have, the better. And to be completely honest with you, I would rather have an entire army of robots fighting than actual flesh and blood people. Because I would rather military might be dictated by technological superiority than by sheer muscle and flesh. I think muscle and flesh is very tribal. It's about ready to be extinct as far as from the war front. And though there will be still some places here and there that, of course, body and flesh and all that's going to be maybe required. But as far as with the superpowers involved in this on this world, it's like humans shall be like rarely used, if ever. I'm all in support for it. Absolutely. Let's go. The section also provides additional funding to finance loans and loan guarantees by the DoD Office and Strategic Capital. Basically saying, we're going to grab this money. This money is ours. Fuck off. Section 20,006. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 to replace current business systems, deploy automation, and deploy artificial intelligence to accelerate audits of DoD financial statements. So basically, they're just making sure that the money that they want going somewhere actually goes somewhere. So they're trying to curb the corruption that has been happening in the government, and they want to ensure that the systems in place basically skip the middleman. We're skipping the HR department. We're skipping the bullshit. We're just going straight into this fund is going into this system, and that is final. And I'm all for it. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 to 1, modernize the capabilities of fighter, transport, and other military aircraft. This means we already have a hint at what's going to happen. We have it in the other, for the missiles, right? Including hypersonic. All right, so just think about what a jet is, right? A jet is essentially just a massive rocket that people happen to sit in it and fire more rockets out of it, right? That's what a jet fighter is. Hypersonic jets. Essentially, what this basically means, if the B-2 bomber wasn't already scary enough, imagine a trans-global orbital jet fighter. Kind of like the SR-71 Blackbird, which that Blackbird I don't think is a hypersonic. Let's take a look real quick. I don't think the SR-71 Blackbird is, let's see here, a beautiful aircraft, by the way. Probably the sexiest aircraft to have ever been made. Let's see here. Let's look at this fucking thing. It's fucking beautiful. I mean, it's ridiculous on what technology was made with this when this bird was first flown. But basically what I'm getting at is this thing, you ain't touching it, right? That's how it is right now. So if we already have an untouchable aircraft, and now this aircraft is not meant for combat. It's meant for reconnaissance and signaling and being stealth, and basically these birds are flying and you don't even fucking know they're there. All right, these are you want government spies? The SR-71 Blackbird is a government spy. 100%. And so, let's see here. It says retired. It's not retired. They're just making it better. Goes to Mach 3. Mach fucking 3, which is 2,200 miles an hour. Okay? This thing, when was its inception? Because I know, 1966. So you're fucking telling me in 1966, we were already making jets that can go into low orbit and travel over 2,200 miles an hour. And you don't think we have something faster and something you don't know about? There's your hint right here. There you go. Fighter, transport, and other military aircraft. Guarantee we are producing, if not have already produced, a hypersonic jet that can probably circle the world within and probably less than 24 hours And at this current point in time, I'm sure it doesn't have any armament on it, but yeah, it can go where the hell it wants. Nothing's stopping it. 2, prevent the retirement of certain fighter aircraft. Example, the F-22. I love it. So, it's just like, I didn't read any of this stuff. I just brought it back up to read it. So, I'm already making my predictions come true. Prevent the retirement of certain aircraft. Retired long-range, high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft. They're bringing it back. And they're going to make it better. I already knew this. Like, I was like, there's no way that such a fantastic piece of machinery is going to be lost to time. No. And produce next-generation manned and unmanned aircraft. Probably they're going to have a unmanned version of the SR-71 Blackbird for reconnaissance, and then they're going to have a manned one to put whatever the fuck they want on it. It's beautiful. I fucking love military shit, man. Section 20,008, the section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for nuclear defense resources and nuclear forces development and production. You know, Iran, I know that we took your shit away, but you can't be trusted with it. But in lieu of that, we're going to make more. Nuclear forces development. Oh my God. Could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine a nuclear powered jet fighter or something like that? Like that would probably what would be needed or required in order to reach hypersonic speeds, in my personal opinion. What's this? Uzi. You can't be trusted with it. Wait, what? Welcome in, Uzi. Welcome in. I am actually going over the big, beautiful bill. I am talking about everything on the big, beautiful bill. I have been inspired to do so. I don't think this has been done yet by anybody. And I've completed section 1 or title 1 of this bill. I'm now on title 2. I just downloaded my first VOD to go onto YouTube for title 1. And now I'm going over title 2, which at this current point in time is about military forces. And so far, we are ramping up. We are absolutely ramping it up. It's crazy. So nuclear defense resources and nuclear forces development and production. Yes. And this is where you caught the, you can't be trusted with it, but we can be. Because we took it out of Iran, but we said, we'll just go ahead and we'll make some more. It's wonderful. And as I said, like a nuclear powered aircraft will be wonderful. So section 20,009, this section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for 1, various military exercises and infrastructure into the Indo-Pacific region. Okay, very specific about that. And 2, classified military space superiority programs. It's happening. It's happening. We are going to have a fucking orbital laser. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. We are going to have an orbital fucking laser. We are going to have the very first, I would say this is public. Obviously, this is public. This is our first hint about any country going remotely public about creating military spacecraft. This is phenomenal. This is crazy. We are going to literally be like the most feared country in the world, if we aren't already. This is nuts. 20,010. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 to enhance and modernize 1, military depots and shipyards. Yes. 2, special operations. Oh my God, SOCOM equipment. Oh my God, this is some fucking Tom Clancy Rainbow Six bullshit. Oh my Lanta. SOCOM. I haven't heard of SOCOM in so long, dude. The last time I heard of SOCOM was, I think, Rainbow Six Siege? No, not Siege. Rainbow Six 3 or something like that. I don't... anyways, there's actually literally a video game called SOCOM. I want to show you exactly when the last time I heard the word SOCOM. Yeah, SOCOM, U.S. Navy SEALs, 2011, 2008. That's the last time SOCOM has been, like, talked about. As far as on a video game and stuff like that. Like, it was such a big deal because it was the most elite forces that the United States has at its disposal. And so now that we're dumping more money to modernize not only the shipyards, because that's what the Navy SEALs are, but also the special operations. That is crazy. That is awesome. Uzi, glad that you find it interesting. It is interesting. There's a lot in this bill that I've already covered that is phenomenal. Some of it that I covered is a little bit of an L, but so far for the majority, everything is a W. So far, everything is a W. Section 2011. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 to support border operations, including deployment of military personnel. So essentially, we are going to be getting a permanent military installation on the borders. Wow. Permanent military installations on the border. And ain't nobody can reverse this, because if we go back up to the top, remember what I said. Additionally, the section temporarily increases authorized investment amounts and provides additional authorization for the acquisition of installations and stuff. Like this isn't going anywhere. Like in the sense of like no one is going to be able to, even if we somehow get a Democratic president or anything like that, right? Then they want to change this shit. It's not going to happen. They figured out the loopholes. This is going to stay. Section 20,012. This section provides additional funding for fiscal year 2025 for the DoD Office of Inspector General to monitor the activities for which funding is provided under this title. Fantastic. Now we have someone that can be accountable. This is good because, as it was stated earlier, they're trying to put AI systems in place to ensure that the money is going where it's supposed to go. Let's see, what did Uzi say? But unfortunately, I have to spend time with the wife, girlfriend, to the park. It's been a while since we spent time together, literally Monday and went out. Well, hey, man, you enjoy your time. If you're going to hang with me for a little bit, I really appreciate it. But hey, Uzi, I love you, man. Much love. All the love for you, bro. But yeah, just make sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that way you can watch these later. Learn a lot. I'm going to help everybody learn a lot. Hopefully. But yeah, so the DoD Office Inspector General to monitor activities of funding. Beautiful. Because now Donald Trump can be like, why is this not right? And we have now someone to point a finger at and say, why is this shit wrong? I love it. I love accountability. I am subscribed. Excellent. And I appreciate you, Uzi. Section 20,013. This section authorizes each military department to use funding under this title for military construction, land acquisition, and military family housing. Each military department must submit a detailed spending plan to Congress. This is fantastic. Let's see, I'm subscribed, and the viewers should too. Absolutely. I mean, I don't have really any viewers per se. I mean, I got you, baby. I got you. And you know what? You're all that I need, Uzi. You're all that I need. But I appreciate that. Yeah, it's good. I try to give good content, you know. But this is huge. This basically is saying that we are militarizing our country. But you could say, oh no, that's terrible. It's not terrible. Being prior service myself, a lot of our bases need infrastructure. I have been into places that probably haven't gotten an update since the Vietnam War. We absolutely need to update ourselves. There's no excuse. If you want us to perform in combat and you want us to be able to be up to date, we have to have good facilities. We have to have good exercising fields, and we need to be able to deploy and be the best that we can be. Army. So yeah, awesome. Section 20,014. This section requires DoD and the National Nuclear Security Administration to submit a spending plan and subsequent expenditure reports to Congress for funding provided under this title. Beautiful. Again, this sentence right here, accountability. That's what that is. They need to they can't buy nothing. We can't buy land. We can't construct. We can't do anything without permission. We have to be able to submit spending plans, and the money has to be allocated appropriately, and everyone needs to be accountable for it in every step of the way. This is good stuff. This is really good. Section 20,015. This section prohibits any agreements that would require the payment of any funds provided under the title after September 30th, 2034. So if we think about this, prohibits any agreements that would require the payment of any funds provided under this. So I'm guessing it's basically saying, like, once the money is spent, it's spent. We're not paying it back to nobody. It's not going back into some registration or re-audit or whatever the fuck it may be. Like, they're basically saying, we're spending the fucking money. It's spent. Kiss it goodbye. See you later. Okay. So that was Title II. Committee on Armed Forces. What a fucking W. I can't even remotely think about what else to even put in that thing. Like, that is a lot. The fact that we are going to space. We are going to space, ladies and gentlemen. And that's fantastic. Again, and I don't care if this worries you or not, it shouldn't. Because if you live in the United States, this is for you. This is your defense. This is making sure China, Russia, or even if Europe decides to get froggy, we'll shut them down. We'll shut them down real fucking quick. I mean, again, Midnight Hammer was the absolute, just showing the world, go ahead and fuck around. And you're going to find out. And you're not going to want to find out. So yeah, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. That was a huge W. Biggest W of this bill so far. Next title. Okay, anyways, sorry, I got distracted by a text message. Next Title III, Committee on Education and Workforce. Now, this one's going to be interesting because education and workforce. Okay. This title makes various changes. How am I? I'm doing fantastic. How about you? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So this title makes various changes to higher education, particularly to the federal student loan system. Okay, let's see if we can get some more W's and help out the students with, hopefully, student loan debt. I mean, everybody would like that. So let's go forward. Subtitle A, Student Eligibility. All right. This subtitle revises eligibility for federal student aid and the amount of aid students may receive. Excellent. Glad to hear that. I'm pretty good. Fantastic. I'm glad you're doing good. Again, glad to have you here. Thank you for coming in and viewing in and being part of chat. Really appreciate you. Section 30,001. This section revises the citizenship categories that qualify a student for federal student aid. Oh boy. Oh boy. This section specifies eligibility for certain nationals of Cuba, interesting, and individuals who lawfully, keyword there, lawfully reside in the United States in accordance with a compact of free association, i.e., individuals from the Republic of the Marshall Islands, the federal state of Micronesia, and the Republic of Palau. So basically, and like I said, I don't really give a fuck. That's my hot take about these other places. I'm sure these are what I call U.S. territories. I don't know. I'm curious. So Micronesia, I've never heard of this place before. Has anybody heard of Micronesia? How's the stream been so far? Stream has been wonderful. So far I haven't had any connection issues. That's always good. So Micronesia, is this a U.S. territory? I'm curious. No, Micronesia is not a U.S. territory. It is an independent nation and free association with... Okay, we are associated with the United States. Okay. Gained independence in 1986. Administered by the U.S. as part of a trust. Okay, so it's a trust territory of the Pacific Islands. Gotcha. Okay. Things are starting to make sense. Because the previous bill, or the previous title in the Services and Arms, said that we are ramping up military production in the Indo-Pacific. Micronesia is in the Indo-Pacific. So, keeping on good terms with the people there makes sense. Because we want to be able to use their land for military purposes. And so, hey, come on, bring your kids, bring your family along. Yeah, we can qualify you to get into our school system. You're good to go. So I finally understand why these places are being talked about. Because the Marshall Islands in Micronesia and the Republic of Palau. I've never even heard of these places. I never even knew what they were. They're in the Pacific. That's why this is important. So, needless to say, let's go back over it. So, essentially, you have to either lawfully be here in the United States, obviously a citizen of the United States, or from Cuba or one of these island nations in the Pacific. Okay, I get it now. Now, my hot take. I don't personally agree with that, because our school system and our education system should be for U.S. citizens first and foremost, and that these other things should be kind of secondary, if not in or worried about at all. Because in the reality of things, if you immigrate here legally, you can go to school. Like, there's nothing barring you from going to school. So I don't know why we have to specifically, label countries and places, but that's just me. Section 30,002. This section changes the way student eligibility for need-based federal aid is calculated by basing the calculation on the median cost of attendance by program of study from all institutions of higher education that offer such programs of study, rather than the cost of attendance of a student-specific program as determined by the IHE. What does that mean? That means that if you want to go to Harvard, or if you want to go to Western Michigan University, or you want to go somewhere, just anywhere, your cost of going to school is going to be essentially the same. It's not going to be based on attendance, is what it's really telling you. Is like, oh, well, we have 10 students that came over to our class, so, well, because we didn't get the 30 students that we want, right? So we're going to charge these 10 students that we would have charged 30 students because we didn't fill our classrooms. That's no longer going to be the thing. What's going to be calculated is exactly what it says, calculation on the median cost, what the middle of the road is of attendance program studies from all institutions. So that's a W, because let's just face it, there's not a whole lot of college kids anymore. There is, but they're mostly a foreign entity for the most part, and really the cost of getting into school is incredibly high. And so if you want people to go to college and actually learn something, get a degree, you're going to have to drive those costs down. And by finding a median cost to these programs is going to let you not have to go in debt so much. So that's what I'm getting from that. This section also restores an exemption for certain family farms and small businesses on the free application of federal student aid form. This exemption applies to the net worth of a family from a net worth of 1, a family farm on which the family resides, or 2, a small business with not more than 100 full-time or full-time equivalent employees that is owned and controlled by the family. Let me tear this down a little bit. Let me think about this. The section also restores an exemption. So it basically gives back the exemption. All right, so this is what we need to know, because I don't know what FAFSA is. So let's look this up. I don't know the details of it. Like, what does it actually do? The FAFSA free application of federal student aid is a form that students use to apply for financial aid to help pay for college. It determines eligibility for federal grants, loans, and work-study programs. Own financial aid packages, eligibility requirements. So, exemptions. Okay, so this is what I got from it. Basically, what it is saying is that even though that you're on a family farm or in a small business, you can still get aid so long as certain requirements are met. Because apparently before, if you worked on a farm or in a small business, you didn't get financial aid, and you just had to deal with it. That's what I'm understanding. Could be wrong. Again, I'm looking at this from the general public standpoint, right? I'm a 99%er. A lot of people don't understand this bill, and that's also including me. And 99% of everybody hasn't even remotely began to even read this damn thing. let alone someone like myself going through it and talking about it. So here I am. So next is subtitle B, loan limits. Okay, this might be really good. So as far as the last section here, I guess a little bit of a W. Just making sure that everybody has a little bit more access to financial aid. I think that's a W. Everyone. So basically, that's what that was all about, was giving people a little bit more financial aid. Okay, cool. For school, yes. Loan limits. This subtitle makes various changes to federal student loans. Section 30,011. This section terminates the ability of undergraduate students to receive subsidized loans and terminates the ability of graduate or professional students to receive direct plus loans beginning on July 1st, 2026. It provides an exception of up to 3 academic years for a student who has already enrolled in a program of study and received a loan for the program. Okay. So basically, it's just getting rid of the loan. So I'm assuming that these loans, these direct plus loans, are probably not worth it. Because again, a lot of schooling, our schooling and our educational programs are not free. And so when you have more costs and more costs and more costs, and I suspect that these loans here are pushed by schools so that way you can get into debt before you're even in college and start paying on loans before you're done. This section also places certain restrictions on Parent Plus loans. In particular, parents may only borrow a Parent Plus loan if the dependent student has already taken out their maximum annual unsubsidized loan amount. Again, we're trying not to put people in debt. I think it's already egregious that we have an educational system that requires money from the people in order to learn something. I don't think that's fair, in my personal opinion. I think education should always be free, just like I think our healthcare system should be free. And it's not just saying that to say that, it's just a fact of life. Like, you want us to be modernized, you want us to be the smartest of the smart. Well, get us into college, get us into the fields that we want to be in, and create those jobs. Because as we all know, when college happens and you get your degree, you're not guaranteed a job, right? Right, you're not guaranteed. So you spent 4 years, maybe even up to 6 years to get your degree, and you come out and you go work at McDonald's because, well, the field that you studied for, there's nothing open for it. It's not right.
And you gotta have 5 years of experience.
Oh yeah, you have to have experience too. That's the whole other thing. But continuing on, this section also establishes new annual and agreeable loan limits for borrowers. Fantastic. For example, this section sets an overall aggregated lifetime borrowing limit of $200,000 for any single borrower across federal loan types, except for federal direct plus loans and parent plus loans. This is great. So this basically means that if Harvard or Ivy League schools are charging $300,000+ or more to go to their school, you can only take out $200,000. That's it. The rest of it has to come out of your pocket. Or the school is going to have to decrease how much the courses cost. So that way people can actually fucking get a good education. Obviously, I just advocated for the complete freedom of education, right? This is basically a step towards that. And it does have to be slow. You can't just say, oh, well, we're just going to have free education or free healthcare, like, snap of a finger. You can't do that. It's going to disrupt the system too much. We're disrupting the system, but in a way that is pliable. The section allows IHEs to set lower loan limits, as it should. Subtitle C, loan repayment. This is going to be interesting. Because remember, back in Biden administration, they're like, oh, well, pay back your student loans. That never happened. I'm going to be curious what this says. The subtitle revises loan repayment options for federal student loans. Section 30,021. This section terminates all current student loan repayment plans for loans dispersed on or after July 1st, 2026. Wow. This section terminates all current student loan repayment plans for loans dispersed on or after July 1st, 2026. Damn. Now, what does that actually mean? That means that any current students that are possibly getting into school or whatever, and they're getting into a loan repayment plan for loans dispersed, right? Loans dispersed. Once next year, so this time next year, if it hasn't been finalized yet, it's getting terminated. So they're gonna have to redraw a whole new loan plan from this section. So let's read on. The Department of Education may only offer borrowers two options for repayment of federal student loans: a standard repayment plan with the length of the repayment term determined by the total amount borrowed. Fantastic. And an income-based repayment plan to be known as the repayment assistance plan. This is great. Notice that they didn't say something in here. Interest rates. I'm going to guarantee that these are 0% interest rate loans. So that way you can actually pay for what you paid for, and you're not paying more for what you didn't. So that's fantastic. You either pay with it for a predetermined amount, and that's it, or based on your income, we'll have you pay more because we know that you can. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. W. Section 30,022. This section eliminates economic hardship and unemployment deferments beginning on July 1st, 2025. So this is already, well, this technically would have already went on effect. Obviously, this bill has to pass first, but, you know. It also reduces the total period a borrower may be in forbearance. So essentially, your loan cannot go forever. It has a term limit. You paid in 6 years, 10 years, whatever the agreed term limit is, and it's done. Because as student loans stand right now, obviously there's interest rates involved, and it's whenever you pay it off. Meaning you could have your student loan for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or more. There's no term limits. Some of them do have term limits, most don't. Because you're just pouring money into the school. Why would they want you to get rid of your term limit or get rid of your loan? That's one of the biggest problems, and this is what's fixing it. This is fixing it. A borrower who is serving in a medical or dental internship or residency program may be eligible for a forbearance in which no interest accrues for the first 12-month intervals. However, interest does accrue for any subsequent 12-month interval. So I can understand this. It sounds like the interest rates, though, are going to be very low. I can't imagine them being high or where they're at right now. I want to know what is current student debt loan interest. Average. Let's do this. What is average? What can I help you with there, dear? Get it? That's fine. Like, you're just gonna block the camera, and I'm gonna block the whole screen. What is the average? Right there it is. Student loan interest rate. Fuck. Mother ducker. See, I don't care for this as low as bullshit, because that all as low as is garbage. Oh, here we go. Oof.
8%.
You got 6.5% for unsubsidized loans that we're just talking about. Graduate and professional students, 8%. Plus loans are at 9%, and private student loans up to 17% interest rate. That's a goddamn credit card. That's a fucking credit card and interest rate. That is just, what's the word? I don't even know what word to use for that. Appalling. That's appalling. Shameful. Shameful and appalling. We should have never allowed this to happen. But, you know, a lot of people are ignorant, and including me. I really didn't know what the interest rates were. I didn't go to college because I knew when I was growing up this shit was a scam. so I didn't do it. But yeah, so I'm hoping that the interest rates do lower, because it clearly is talking about them now. It didn't talk about them till now, but this is a special thing, right? Serving medical or dental internships, which is a professional degree. So I can understand maybe. Section 30,023. This section allows borrowers to rehabilitate a defaulted loan twice. Currently, it's only once. However, beginning July 1st of this year, so it already happened, the borrower must pay a minimum payment around amount of $10. Okay. So essentially what they're saying is you defaulted on your loan, you rehabilitated it once, which was all that you had. So now you're back up to normal. But of course, things have changed, but we're back up and doing it. Oh, you defaulted again. Well, we will rehabilitate it one more time. So this is your second shot. This is your second chance. Or third chance. This is third strike because you did it first time. So third chance to get this loan right. And basically it's saying if you still fuck up, so long as you are paying at least $10 a month, you should be okay. But I don't know what that's going to do to you in the long run. Obviously, I would say it would behoove you to get back on track as fast as possible. But this allows that your loan will not default, and who knows what the hell will happen to it after that. But if you just throw $10 at it, it should be okay. Section 30,024. This section allows payments under the new repayment assistance plan to count as qualifying payments for purposes of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. All right. What is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program? So I guess it's a debt relief. So essentially what this means, getting comfy, allows payments under the new repayment assistance program for the purposes of a public service loan forgiveness. So basically, you default on your loan, or you're having problems with it, as stated from the previous section. Now with the public service loan forgiveness, I'm sure they'll take some of that debt away from you and give you a lower debt to pay back to help you out. Because essentially, basically, the Trump party, the Republican Party right now are trying to help you out with, if you're really getting stuck in the mud, there's some way for you to get out of it to some degree. So let's read on. This section also specifies that a public service job for purposes of the PSLF program does not include time served in a medical or dental internship or residency program by an individual who, as of June 30th of 2025, has not borrowed a federal direct plus loan or a federal direct unsubsidized standard loan, Stafford loan. This is very specific stuff. I don't really believe that, other than for CNAs and RNs and obviously medical and dental, that really the general public isn't going to have to worry about this too much. So I'm not going to really jest over it too much. Section 30,025. This section provides fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 funding to Educational Department for administration costs. Okay. Hopefully what that means is better teachers. I hope that means better teachers. All right. Subtitle D, Pell Grants. The subtitle makes changes to Pell Grants. All right. Section 30,031. This section requires foreign income that is exempt from taxation or foreign income for which an individual receives a foreign tax credit to be included in the adjusted gross income calculation for purposes of calculating eligibility for Pell Grants. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. Absolutely. So you'd be like, oh, I'm tax-free, buddy, so I don't have to pay as much. Nope. You need to pay your fair share. Even if you're tax-free, those taxes are calculated in your eligibility. Beautiful. Because that's a lot of why foreigners send their people over here to go to school. Because they get grants, preferential treatment in the schooling and educational system, And because of these things that we just said, the foreign tax credit and everything like that, they don't have to pay as much to go to school, and they get a primo education over U.S. citizens. I never agreed with this, and it's bullshit. Really, it is. Again, put America first. We need to get ourselves unstupefied and get back on the train of being probably the most educated people in the world. That's how it should be. If we are going to be a military superpower, of which, after reading the military stuff, is going to be fantastic. But if you want the citizens to be smart and help you out and grow the country, you gotta give them education. You gotta. Students with a student aid index that equals or exceeds twice the amount of the total maximum Pell Grant are ineligible. Regardless of their adjusted gross income. That's great. Basically, this means that rich-ass people from Saudi Arabia and everywhere else cannot apply for grants to assist with schooling. This basically means, like, dude, you make millions of dollars. Your children do not need a grant. Pay for the fucking school. Beautiful. Beautiful. The section also increases the number of credits needed to qualify for full-time enrollment in order to receive a Pell Grant. Wonderful. Which means no fucking retards. Foreign. Let me rephrase that. Foreign retards. So you can't bring your kid over here, get your tax credits. You have expensive monies, right? You already got a lot of money, and you can throw it around, and you get a grant and all that stuff, and your kid is an underperformer in school. Sorry. You got to have the credits. You got to have the credits. I agree with this 100%. And this is what we should be doing. It may sound mean, but really it's what we should be doing. If you're going to be coming over here to have education, because I'm sorry to say your country clearly sucks and you can't educate your own people. So if you want us to educate your people, pay up. Pay up. Other than that, though, I have no problem with educating other foreign countries or entities. I have no problem with that. I really don't. It's just the fact of the matter is they should not have preferential treatment over U.S. citizens. It's simple. This section changes take effect beginning July 1st, 2026. So basically this time next year, that's what's happening. Section 30,032. This section requires Educational Department to award workforce Pell Grants to students enrolled in eligible workforce programs. Awesome. Eligible programs are those that provide at least 150 clock hours, but less than 600 clock hours of instruction during a minimum of 8 weeks, but less than 15 weeks. Beautiful. So that way, basically, you're coming to the country, right? You're coming to the country. Your ass is going to work. Your ass is going to go to work. And you're going to be able to get Pell Grants. That's good. No more sitting at home, doing whatever, and you still get a Pell Grant. Won't happen anymore. The section changes, I already read that one. Section 30,033. This section increases funding for Pell Grants for fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2028. The reason why they're saying this is because they expect a lot of people coming over for education. So they're going to increase the funding for those Pell Grants for foreigners coming over to get an education that qualify. Okay, fair enough. Subtitle E, accountability. Ooh, accountability. That's a big word. Democrats don't like that word. This subtitle creates a new risk-sharing framework for IHEs. Section 30,041. This section requires IHEs participating in federal student loan programs to make annual risk-sharing payments based on the non-repayment balance of student loan cohorts. Okay. So basically, it's all of these loans that these institutes of higher education, that's what IHE stands for, Institute of Higher Education. So these big colleges, right? Big boy colleges, the Ivy League bullshit. And essentially are telling the schools, whatever the students aren't paying back, you're going to be paying for it. I love it. And guess what that is? Accountability. This section also outlines penalties for late or missing payments. Okay. For example, the section prohibits an institute of higher education from offering direct loans to students if the IHE has not made a payment within 12 months of receiving a notification from the education department. Oh my God. Imagine telling Harvard, you can't give a student a loan. You haven't fucking paid us yet. That's funny. So that basically they can't keep shilling out loans to students that can't pay for it in the first place, and the students aren't paying it back, and the school is just, continuing to get interest rates off of unpaid student debt and sending them off to the Department of Treasury for collections and garnishing the parents' wages and whoever knows what else the fuck they do, right? I have no idea, but the fact of the matter is it's corrupt, and this is going to quell the corruption because, again, accountability. If your students can't pay back their debts, there's a fucking problem, and therefore you're going to pay them back then. The section also prohibits an IHE from offering direct loans or awarding Pell Grants if the IHE has not made risk-sharing payments in 18 months. So again, they can't even give Pell Grants to foreign students until they've paid for it. If an IHE fails to make a payment within 2 years, the IHE may not participate in federal student loans for a minimum of 10 years. Holy shit. So if let's just say Harvard fails to pay back the federal government for unpaid student debt within 2 years of, I'm sure, their first, what's the word I'm looking for their first infraction, you won't be able to participate in student loan programs for 10 years. That's basically sending a school to prison. That's what's happening. They're sending schools to prison. Beautiful. Make them accountable. Let's see here. This section changes take effect beginning with award year of 2028 to 2029. Okay. Section 30,042. This section establishes the Promoting Real Opportunities to Maximize Investments and Savings in Education Promise Grant Program. To receive a Promise Grant, an IHE must meet maximum total price guarantee requirements as outlined in this section. These grants may be used to carry out activities related to post-secondary affordability, access, and student access. Again, this is more posturing on making sure that the institutes actually can, they're basically in good graces with the federal government. Subtitle F, Regulatory Relief. All right, this might be good as far as for the general citizen. Let's figure it out. So that was a smack on the schools. That was beautiful. That was W all the way around. The subtitle repeals several rules and regulations related to higher education. Here we go. Section 30,051. This section repeals the 90-10 rule, which requires proprietary, i.e. for profit, IHEs participating in federal student aid programs to derive at least 10% of their tuition and fee revenue from non-federal funds. Basically, they're saying you can't take money from people who have private funding. You can't do that. The section also removes references to gainful employment within the Higher Education Act of 1965. Okay. Don't have much to say on that one. The section repeals ED, or Education Department regulations, pertaining to closed school discharges of qualifying federal student loans and borrower defense to repayment. These repeated regulations are placed with those regulations that were in effect on July 1st, 2020. So basically, this is something that Trump put into effect. So this is the Biden administration. So this is something from the Biden administration that they put into effect around this year, 5 years ago. So there's that. Or maybe this was Trump. When did Trump was, because it happened in November, right? was the election. So Biden was still in office Trump was still in office in 2020. Yes, Trump was still in office in 2020 because Biden was 21 to 2024. Yes. Okay. I will retract and reiterate. This is something that Trump put in place and is putting back into place because it was probably reprieved by the Biden administration. Okay. The section also prohibits educational department from implementing any rule, regulation, policy, or executive action regarding these regulations unless explicitly authorized by an act of Congress. So basically, the schools can't do what the fuck they want. They got to get authorized by Congress, which that's good luck with that. Subtitle G, limitation on authority. Okay. This subtitle limits the authority of the educational department to propose or issue regulations and executive actions related to federal student aid programs. Okay, let's hear more about it. Section 30,061. This section prohibits educational department from issuing a proposed rule, final regulation, or executive action of educational department determines that the rule, regulation, or action 1 is economically significant and 2 would result in an increase in a subsidy cost. Economically significant refers to a regulation or executive action that is likely to 1. Have an actual effect on the economy of $100 million or more, or 2. Adversely affect in a material way the economy, a sector of the economy, productivity, competition, jobs, the environment, public health or safety, or state, local, or tribal government communities. Basically, it's telling the schools, fuck off, put your nose down, teach your kids, don't worry about the finances. The federal government will take care of it. You make sure that shit gets paid. If it's not getting paid, you're paying it back because clearly you fucked over these people and you weren't supposed to. And yeah, so that's the accountability. That is the summary of this whole thing is stop fucking around, teach the kids, and you're done. That's all you need to worry about. W. Title 4. We're just skipping right on through. I'm going to get a sip of my juice box. I ain't got much left. Tasty. All right. Title 4, Energy and Commerce. Beautiful. Subtitle A, Energy. I hope this is the drill baby drill. I hope this is drill baby drill. I wanted this. I voted for Trump for this because we do need to be energy proficient and efficient. And if anything, we need to be exporting energy. We need to have so much fucking energy, we don't even know what to do with it. That's what this needs to be. So let's see if I'm right. Section 41,001. This section rescinds the unobligated funds that were provided by the Inflation Reduction Act, which that's the Biden administration act, for various energy programs such as state-based home energy efficiency contractor training grants. The fuck is that? The Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Loan Program, which I think that's the EV vehicles that Elon was not too happy about, and the Tribal Energy Loan Guarantee Program. So obviously trying to give energy to the tribes. I don't fucking understand that. Okay. Section 41,002. This section establishes fees for certain natural gas exports and imports. Fantastic. Essentially a two-way tariff. So basically, we're going to be making more money on our exports and imports. Good. Section 41,003. This section provides funding to the Department of Energy, DOE, for administrative expenses for carrying out loan guarantees related to liquefied natural gas pipeline projects from Alaska. Yes. Yes. So we are liquefying natural gas out of Alaska. I don't know if that's a drill baby drill, but that might be. Section 41,004. This section allows for expedited permitting for certain natural gas projects. Drill, baby, drill. There it is right there. That's it right there. Expedited permitting for natural gas projects. Oh, this is going to be good for the fuel business. Going to be so good. This is the funny thing. I know that Trump has said this and he's been a little bit contradictory on this, which is saying, oh, the gas prices have went down. Gas is out. I think it's like, I think it was like $1.97. It was so good. You know, the gas has never been so low. It's such low time. It's a good time. Gas has never been so low. You know, he said that, but it's actually been going up and down, and mostly up. And the reason being is because this bill hasn't been implemented yet. Once this bill gets passed, yes, I suspect, hear me out, I suspect that gas will be $1.50 a gallon. I suspect this. I might not be crazy, or I might be a little too crazy, I don't know. But I bet that once we get these projects underway and the gas is just flowing and it's non-stopping, this is one of the things I voted for Trump, because I'm sure all of you are tired of near $3 or more in gas costs. Let's, at the very least, bring it under $2 a gallon. I think that's achievable, if not lower. I want to see, because like when I started driving back in 2004, I started driving in 2004. I'm old. I'm a dinosaur. Gas was $1.50 at that point in time. So I remember the good old days. Okay. Section 41,005. This section establishes and provides funding for de-risking compensation program that provides compensation for unrecoverable losses associated with energy projects that, for example, have had federal approval revoked. Yeah, so basically they're saying, oh, we want to drill here. Oh, no, it can't happen. Oh, shit, we spent all this money. Well, we can recover all that money back. Okay. They got to try. They got to be able to do something. And basically this is basically saying that we want our money back for not being able to do what we want to do. Okay, fuck it. Section 41,006. This section provides funding for the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. Nice. It also repeals a provision that requires DOE to draw down and sell a specified quantity of crude oil from the SPR during fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2027. This goes into the whole thing of when Joe Biden released hundreds of millions of barrels of our natural fuels and essentially sold them. He sold them away. He went into our Strategic Petroleum Reserve, took our fuel away from the citizens, crushed gas prices into oblivion. That's when we were paying like $3 and some odd cents for just fucking regular, almost $4 a gallon at one point in time. I'm sure some of you maybe remember that. It's been a minute though, right? It's been about 3 years since that happened. But yes. So essentially what he's basically saying in this bill is that he's replenishing it. He's putting it back to where it's supposed to be. So that way in actual times of crisis, which is what this is supposed to be used for, we can keep America moving. We can keep the war machine going, right? If we need to. W. Big W. Subtitle B, Environment. Part 1, Repeals and Rescissions. This part repeals certain programs established under the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, so this is a Biden Act, and rescinds certain funds provided under the act. So basically defunding this act. Okay. Section 42,101. This section repeals a program under which the Environmental Protection Agency, so the EPA, provides 1, grants and rebates to replace certain medium-duty vehicles, i.e. School buses, and heavy-duty vehicles, i.e. garbage trucks, with zero-emission vehicles. Big W. It is... I like electric vehicles. I do. They have no business in industrial complexes, especially with industries that require travel. Because here's the thing, think about it, right? Just think about this with me. Your electric vehicle, okay? You take it to the Tesla charger, you plug it in. How long do you have to sit there in order to get a full charge? About 20 minutes, right? So typically you plug in your car, you go into a grocery store or a shopping center, fuck around for a little while, you come back out, your car is like 70% charged. I can make it home, right? I can make it home. This does not translate well in the industrial field. Because as a truck driver, let's just say a truck driver, right? I'm driving. And of course, by this point in time, obviously the batteries have to be really fucking good to not only one, haul for quite some distance, but two, be able to haul a trailer full of goods. That's a lot of strain on an electrical vehicle. And now this truck driver has to pull over and recharge his truck. How long do you think it's going to take to recharge that vehicle? Hours. A truck driver does not have hours. A truck driver, and if this ever went live, as far as zero emission vehicles, it would slow down the freighting industry. It would be catastrophic to the shipping world. Yes, some companies like Amazon and I think even FedEx are using EV vehicles, but they're using them sparsely. They're using them in low or minimal work effort, meaning that these vehicles are guaranteed to make their deliveries on one full charge. That vehicle comes back to their facility, sits on a wireless charging pad. They're really cool to see. I could probably pull them up, but they essentially sit on that pad, they recharge, and they'll be ready to go by next delivery. This type of technology has not come up on a national scale. It is only localized. So saying that we need to do electric vehicles and shit like that right now, preposterous. We're not there yet. We might get there, of course. I think we'll get there, most certainly. And I'll be all for it. I wouldn't mind driving a truck knowing that I can drive 1,000 miles on one charge, right? Because then that means I could probably get to where I need to go, and I don't have to go any further, and so I can let my truck sit and charge. But as it sits right now, we don't have that technology. And 2, awards to replace such vehicles in communities located in areas designated as non-attainment areas under the Clean Air Act, e.g. areas that do not meet normal air quality standards. So essentially, the only places that these vehicles are going to be prevalent are in areas that have problems with pollution. Okay. Makes sense. Section 42,102. This section repeals a program under which the EPA provides incentives to reduce air pollution at certain ports. Under the program, the EPA awards rebates and grants to port authorities and other eligible entities to 1. Purchase or install equipment and technology to reduce pollution at ports. 2. Conduct any relevant planning or permitting in connection with those purchases. And 3. Develop climate action plans. I was going to read more. It seemed like it was going more. My bad. And 3. Develop climate action plans. The program also provides additional funding for rebates and grants for carrying out such activities in ports located in areas, designated as non-attainment areas under the Clean Air Act. If you were ever wondering if Donald Trump didn't care about the environment, there you go. There you go. He's giving the EPA grants and authority to help out ports with pollution. That's fantastic. Big W. Because here's the thing, you don't help the future if you don't help the now. And a lot of these things, especially with the Biden administration, it was about the future. Like, oh, we got to look at the 100-year plan. No one gives a fuck what happens in 100 years from now. We're all going to be dead. Fuck that shit. But what can we do now to help the future? This is one of them. Cleaning up the ports. Beautiful. W. Big W. Section 42,103. This section repeals the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, which provides financial and technical assistance to states and other eligible recipients to help enable low-income and disadvantaged community carry out activities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. I think some of you are probably yelling at me right now. This section repeals. I read this wrong. Third person repeals or revoke. Revoke. So basically, he's actually he's taking away the incentives to reduce air pollution at ports and stuff like that. So I will backtrack. I'm like, look at that. He cares about the environment. No, so he doesn't give a shit. I thought this would be a W because, but here's the thing, okay? I'm going to play devil's advocate on both sides. It depends on how effective this was. So let's go back through 4102 again. So this section, they shouldn't use the word repeal. This section revokes a program under the EPA providing incentives to reduce air pollution at certain ports. Okay. All right. Under the program, the EPA awards rebates and grants to port authorities and other eligible entities to 1. Purchase or install equipment and technology to reduce pollution at ports, conduct any relevant planning or permitting in connection to those purposes, develop climate action plans. Okay, I now see what this is. Essentially, this has been determined by the Trump administration that this is a probably not necessarily a corrupt funding thing, but clearly the funding isn't doing anything. Because they're basically paying themselves to do projects that might not be getting done. Okay, I don't know. So I'm going to have to retract my previous statement and say that Trump cared about the environment. That is not caring for the environment. I like the idea of that, and I think that's why a lot of people probably were all about it for Biden, right? Because it sounded good. Like, oh, we're cleaning up our ports. It sounds great, right? And this is what I thought was happening. That's not what's happening. So please forgive me on that. Again, I'm a stupid 99% general public guy. I'm just trying to understand this as much as everybody else. Now that I know, essentially, Trump is cutting all of that funding for any of this clean air bullshit. And again, the only thing I can think of is because it costs too much money, it's not effective, and it's subject to corruption. Those are very valid reasons why you want to cut a funding. And obviously, as we have been paying attention to as far as Doge is concerned, there's a lot of that. So to believe that this isn't free from corruption, you would be out of your mind. So, all right, I played devil's advocate there. Boo on Trump, yay on Trump. There you go. There's a middle of the ground for you. Boo, yay. All right, section 42103. So this section repeals the greenhouse gas reduction fund. And this is, when I was reading this is why I got myself stopped up, because I'm like, greenhouse gas reduction? Like, who the fuck cares about this? Like, this was what I was talking about. Like, who cares about what happens in 100 years from now? Which provides financial and technical assistance to states and other eligible recipients to help enable low-income and disadvantaged communities carrying out activities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. No one's going to fucking do this. No, what does that even mean? Disadvantaged and low-income areas to reduce emissions? I'm sorry, but Johnny in his 1978 Monte Carlo ain't gonna give two shits about a fucking muffler. Okay. He's gonna be rolling down the strip, baby. He do whatever he wants. Who cares? Like I said, there's just some stuff that just doesn't make sense. Like that one didn't make sense. That's why, okay, I need to reread this. And when I reread the word repeals, I finally understood. Section 42,104. This section repeals an EPA program that gives grants, rebates, and loans under the Energy Policy Act of 2005. 2005. Is that Obama? When was... No. It's Tony. So it was George Bush. Yeah. 2001 to 2005. Or, right? Yeah. So this was a George W. Bush. So he's even reacting against his own Republican candidates. So there you go. But of course, this was so long ago. I'm interested. So Act of 2005 to identify and reduce diesel emissions resulting from goods movements, e.g. distribution of raw materials and consumer products, facilities as well as vehicles servicing those facilities in low-income and disadvantaged communities. Grants, rebates, and loans for reduced diesel emissions. We already have DEF fluid. DEF fluid reduces diesel emissions. So we already have a program in place. So this is what they consider a redundant program. A waste of money. I understand. W. What's going on here? Okay. All right. Section 42105. This section repeals funding for a variety of programs that provide incentives to monitor and reduce air pollution and greenhouse gases, including funding for grants and other activities to deploy, integrate, support, and maintain stations, technology, and other methods to monitor air toxins. Expand the National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Network with new multi-pollutant monitoring stations. Replace, repair, operate, and maintain existing monitors. Deploy, integrate, and operate air quality sensors in low-income and disadvantaged communities. This is hilarious. I'll touch base on why this is funny. Addresses emissions from wood heaters? The fuck? Monitor emissions of methane. Y'all need to stop shitting yourselves. Stop it. So much fart in the air. Oh my god. Okay. Conduct research and development related to the prevention and control of air pollution and encourage states to adopt and implement greenhouse gas and zero emission standards for mobile resources or mobile sources. Yeah. Defund this immediately. Defund it immediately. It's so fucking stupid. Wood heaters. How many fucking people in the United States use wood heaters? Let's answer that right now. How many people in the US use wood heaters? 2.5 million households. 2%. 2% of the population remotely uses these things. Fucking useless. Useless. Yes, get rid of it. W. Section 42106. This section rescinds specified funds for grants and other activities to monitor and reduce greenhouse gas emissions and other air pollutants at schools in low-income and disadvantaged communities. Further, it rescinds funding for technical assistance to schools in low-income and disadvantaged communities to 1. Address environmental issues, develop school environmental quality plans that include standards for school building design, construction, and renovation, and 3. Identify and mitigate ongoing air pollution hazards. This was the other part that I wanted to mention. Continually through all of this shit, they have mentioned low-income and disadvantaged communities. These, mind you, are Biden administration words. These are Biden administration words because they thought they were doing these low-income and disadvantaged people a fucking favor by demanding that their shitty cesspool of a town or district, because you're dirty and you're unclean, you need to get anti-pollution stuff up. How fucking asshole do you have to be to basically call out the people that have already been beaten down the most in our society? So you're going to call out the most beat down people in our society, tell them that they literally are fucking scuzzy people and that you need to clean up your shit because we're tired of sucking your air. That's what the Biden administration basically said. Dumb. Section 42107. This section rescinds funding for a low emissions electricity program that provides education, technical assistance, and outreach to reduce greenhouse gas emissions that result from domestic electricity generation and use. Again, basically what they're doing is they're cutting the funding to all this. This is what this whole section is. Cut funds, cut funds, cut funds. We're not doing it anymore. Fuck this shit. Who cares? No one gives a shit. That's what this is. 42108. This section rescinds funding provided under the EPA's Renewable Fuel Standards Program for the development and establishment of tests and protocols regarding the environmental and public health effects of a fuel or fuel additive. the collection and analysis of data to update application regulations, guidance, and procedures for determining the amount of greenhouse gas emissions from a fuel over the fuel's life cycle. Okay. The review, analysis, and evaluation of the impacts of all transportation fuels on the public, as well as low-income and disadvantaged communities. Really attacking those low-income and disadvantaged communities, huh, Democrats? Proud of you. And supporting investments in advancement biofuels. Yeah, I mean, the whole damn thing needs to be just shut down, and that's what's happening. I might even glaze over this. Rescinds funding. Repeals program supports development of standardization, transparent reporting, critical environmental product declarations. Repeals, rescinds. Repeals. Repeal. Okay. Again, I just skipped through because we all know what this means. This basically means they're getting rid of all of it. It's gone. Whatever the EPA was doing, whatever this greenhouse bullshit was going on, it's gone now. See you later. Smell you later. It's gone. Literally, smell you later. All right, let's read this since this doesn't say repeal or rescind right off the bat. This part nullifies, hey, a new word, the final rule issued by the EPA titled Revised 2023 and Later Model Year Light Duty Vehicle Greenhouse Gas Emission Standards and published on December 30th, 2021. The rule established more stringent greenhouse gas emission standards for light-duty vehicles, i.e. passenger cars and light trucks, for 2023 and later model years. Okay. So we don't have to worry about, what, gas emissions as much? I'm sure California and New York will have something to say about that. This part also nullifies the EPA's final rule titled Multi-Pollutant Emission Standards for model years 2027 and later light-duty and medium-duty vehicles. Okay. Got it. Part 3, repeal rules relating to CAFE standards. Okay. Nullifies. Gotcha. I get it. All right. I understand now. Trump is getting rid of the EPA's bullshit. There you go. Subtitle C. Communications. All right. Part 1, Spectrum Auctions. Don't know what the fuck that is, but we're going to find out. Section 43-101. This section renews, okay, so now we're bringing something back. Renews the authority of the Federal Communications Commission, so the FCC, to auction licenses for the use of radio frequency spectrum and requires certain frequencies to be reallocated and auctioned on an exclusive license basis for fixed and mobile broadband. Okay. That's a little scary. What this is essentially meaning is the government is going to be purchasing this is my own take, right? A lot of this, anytime I start talking outside of the beaten path of this, I'm giving my personal perception, personal opinion, and what I think it is. And what I think it is the government is essentially seizing certain broadbands for, I'm going to assume, use in military operation and other. That's what I'm thinking. That's going through the brain here. Specifically, this section authorizes the FCC's use of competitive bidding, i.e. auctions, to grant licenses for the use of specific frequencies through September 30th, 2034. The FCC auction authority must be reviewed by Congress periodically. It expired on March 9th, 2023, and has not been renewed. Question. What the fuck are we going to be doing on September 30th, 2034? That the FCC has competitive bidding on specific frequencies through September 30th, 2034. I don't know. This is kind of getting out of my realm of knowledge. Like, I don't understand what's really going on here. I'm just assuming that since we are specifying broadband signals to me, the first thought that comes to my head is military. So no one else can be on those signals. Only the persons of whom have purchased those signals can utilize them. Further, within 2 years of this title's enactment, okay, being very specific, the National Telecommunications and Information Administration must identify at least 600 megahertz of spectrum at frequencies between 1.3 and 10 gigahertz for reallocation to non-federal use on an exclusive licensed basis. Certain frequencies used primarily by the Department of Defense. Who was right? Who was right? I was right. I called it. This was not pre-read. I did not read this ahead of time. I'm reading it with you just as I'm reading it. I have not touched this paper. It only makes sense when you want to have specific broadband frequencies isolated from commercial or from public use. There's only one reason for it: military. So basically, with the space lasers and the space missile batteries that we're putting in place in low orbit, we need very specific frequencies, obviously within the 600 megahertz spectrum between 1.3 and 10 gigahertz, to communicate effectively with those anti-missile satellites, so that way they can communicate appropriately. And no one else can be on those frequencies. I got it. Big brain. Oh, I got a big brain. And unlicensed devices, including Wi-Fi, are excluded from auction eligibility to the extent that the identified spectrum is currently assigned for to federal users. The NTIA must withdraw or modify such assignments. Okay. So, still military. I believe it. I believe it. The FCC must conduct one or more auctions of the identified spectrum for use on an exclusive license basis for mobile broadband, fixed broadband, or a combination thereof. The FCC must complete auctioning at least 200 megahertz of the identified spectrum within 3 years of this title's enactment. So basically before the Trump administration leaves. It must complete auctioning any remaining spectrum within 6 years of enactment. Here's the other thing that I think what's happening. So not only is it militarized, even if they're saying that they're wanting to kind of detract from that, they're not. The military has its own frequencies that you can't access. I read a little bit ahead. I'm so sorry. I read a little bit ahead, but this is the other reason. Part 2, artificial intelligence and information technology modernization. Guaranteed that the brainiacs behind AI have determined that these frequencies are what's going to be utilized to assist in AI manufacturing. That's my speculation. Let's see what happens. Section 43201. This section prohibits states and localities from limiting, restricting, or otherwise regulating artificial intelligence models. Wow. So basically, the government is telling the states, fuck off. We got this. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Don't even pay attention to it. It is purely federal government. AI systems or automated decision systems entered into interstate commerce for 10 years. This prohibition does not apply to any state law or regulation. Wow. So basically, let's say Tennessee's like, well, we don't want AI in our DMV or some bullshit. They don't have a choice. It's happening. The government's just going to come in and put AI inside of our DMVs and stuff like that. It's done. It's over with. So, yeah. Overriding the state. The primary purpose... So, here we go. We have actually the bullet points to what the whole purpose of this is. So, the primary purpose and effect of which is to remove legal impediments to facilitate the deployment or operation of or consolidate administration procedures in a manner that facilitates the adoption of AI models, AI systems, or automated decision systems. I feel like this might be something along the lines of voters, like voter machines. But also, like I said, it kind of also sounds like the DMV too, where these systems are in place to decide for us, and we don't have to have human intervention. That does not impose substantive design, performance, data handling, documentation, civil liability, taxation, fee, or other requirements on AI models, AI systems, or automated decision systems unless such requirements are imposed under federal law or are generally applicable to other models and systems that perform similar functions. Essentially, AI has become Christianity. They get a tax-free stamp and they can do what the hell they want, and there is no taxes to be imposed on AI. Okay. That imposes only fees and bonds that are reasonable and cost-based and treat other models and systems that perform similar functions in the same manner as AI models, AI systems, and automated decision systems, or the violation of which carries a criminal penalty. Ooh. Ooh. Imagine your governor getting arrested because they try to employ some sort of taxation or impediment on an AI infrastructure. Ooh. This section also provides specified funds to the Department of Commerce to modernize and secure federal information technology systems through the replacement of some existing systems and the deployment of commercial AI, okay, and automaton or automation technologies. Specifically, Commerce must use funds appropriated under the section to 1. Replace or modernize legacy business systems with commercial AI and automated decision systems. 2. Facilitate the adoption of AI models that increase efficiency and service delivery. And 3. Improve the cybersecurity of federal information technology systems through modernized architecture, automated threat detection, and integrated AI solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, Skynet is here. The machines are going to start thinking for us. They will decide for us. They will tell us what to do, what not to do, how to do it. And if we fall out of line, I will be in error. Humanity will be in error. Oh yes. Skynet. It's coming. This might be part of the Trump Stargate program, to be honest with you, but let's read on. Under the section, AI is defined as a machine-based system that can, Terminators, for a given set of human-defined objectives, until it becomes machine-defined objectives, make predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing real or virtual environments. An AI model is a software component of an information system that implements AI technology and uses computational, statistical, or machine learning techniques to produce outputs from a defined set of inputs. An AI system is any data system, hardware tool, or utility that operates in whole or in part using AI. Again, Terminators. An automated decision system is any computational process derived from machine learning, statistical modeling, data analytics, or AI that issues a simplified output. Example, a score, classification, or recommendation. To materially... Ooh. Here's the big... I just said it, didn't I? I just said it, right? The machine will tell you what to do. The machine knows what to do. And you will fall in line. You will assimilate. There is no resistance. Resistance is futile. To material influence or replace human decision-making. Wow. That is the first course of complete national autonomy, meaning that again, people won't be making decisions. The machines are going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you exactly when to flip that burger at McDonald's, if there isn't a robot already doing it.
There is.
Interesting time of history that we live in, folks, and I love it. I love every bit of it. Subtitle D, health. Uh-oh. Well, that's a big one. Part 1, Medicaid. Subpart A, reducing fraud and improving enrollment process. All right. Section 44,103. This section requires the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, to establish a centralized system for states to check whether enrollees are simultaneously enrolled in Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program in multiple states. Beautiful. This is basically quelling corruption by the everyday U.S. citizens and even businesses from having multiple versions of healthcare across states. The fact that you even can do that is retarded. So glad to see that they're quelling that. Essentially, whatever state that you reside in, that's the insurance that you get. Beginning no later than 2027, states must regularly obtain the addresses of Medicaid and CHIP enrollees. Sorry, I got sidetracked. From specified authorized sources. Beginning no later than fiscal year 2030, states must report on at least a monthly basis the Social Security numbers of enrollees to the CMS newly established system. The CMS must notify states on at least a monthly basis of individuals who are enrolled in multiple states so that states may take appropriate action. That is some fucking accountability right there. You're going to have to hire a whole ass new department to just do that. Because you want this shit on a monthly basis? Damn. That's a lot of work. But I'm sure the AI systems will help us out with that. Our AI machine overlords will be sure to tell us exactly how we have to conduct ourselves. So we'll be just fine. The section provides funds for the fiscal year 2026 and 2029, okay, skipping a few years, for the CMS to establish and maintain the new system respectively. So good. At least the government's paying for it, right? So they're just going to tell the CMS, build the shit, we'll pay for it. Section 44.104. This section requires state Medicaid programs to check beginning in 2028 the Social Security Administration's death master file on at least a quarterly basis to determine whether Medicaid enrollees are deceased. Thank God. That way our taxes probably could be reduced. This right here, it may not say it, but this is a tax reduction. Because this is the thing. If you're dead, you shouldn't be getting fucking Medicaid. You're dead. Sorry. It's over with. And so therefore our taxes have been going to pay for these dead people. Well, no more. It's not going to happen anymore. And so hopefully we won't have to put so much money into Medicaid to pay for dead people. Wouldn't that be nice? I think that'd be nice. Section 44.105. This section requires state Medicaid programs to check, beginning in 2028, as part of the provider enrollment and re-enrollment process, whether providers were terminated from participating in the Medicare program, any other state Medicaid program, or CHIP using certain databases, example, the Database Exchange System. The section requires states to continue to check these databases on at least a monthly basis after providers are enrolled. Again, more accountability is all this is making sure, keep your shit tight. Keep your shit tight. Section 44.106. This section provides statutory authority for the requirement that state Medicaid programs check, as part of the provider enrollment and re-enrollment process, whether providers are deceased through the Social Security Administration death master file on a quarterly basis. So we got monthly basis, quarterly basis. Essentially, we are doing our damnedest to sift through the bullshit. This is a Doge thing. But obviously we have to, Doge was, in my personal opinion, a temporary aperture to get this information so that way we can make accountable the departments that have been egregiously just don't give a shit about their job and are charging the American people for shit that doesn't matter anymore, i.e., dead people. We shouldn't be paying for dead people. So there you go. Section 44108. This section requires state Medicaid programs to redetermine every 6 months. So we got quarterly, 6 months, monthly, beginning on December 31st, 2026. The eligibility of individuals who are enrolled in Medicaid as part of the Medicaid expansion population under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The act allows states to extend Medicaid coverage to all adults under the age of 65 who come with incomes of up to 138% of the federal poverty level, including able-bodied adults without dependent children. Okay. Just making sure people are eligible. Again, accountability. Section 44.1111111. Repeating ones. 111. The section reduces by 10%, beginning fiscal year 2028, the enhanced federal matching rate for the Medicaid expansion population in states that provide comprehensive health benefits or financial assistance for purchasing health benefits to individuals other than children or pregnant women who are not lawfully residing in the United States. Excuse me, goddamn. Regardless of the source of the benefits or financial assistance. Okay. Subpart B, preventing wasteful spending, which essentially is what was going on at the top, but I'm assuming this is going to get into more details about that. This section provides funds to survey retail and non-retail pharmacies to determine average prices of covered outpatient drugs. Under Medicaid, pharmacies that fail to participate in the surveys are subject to civil penalties. Damn! Send your ass to prison for not making sure shit's right. That's good. That's good. You want this. The section additionally provides funds for fiscal year 2026 for the Office of the Inspector General of the Department of Health and Human Resources to study the results of the survey and report accordingly to Congress. Again, accountability. W. Section 44124. The section requires pass-through pricing models and prohibits spread pricing for payment arrangements with pharmacy benefit managers under Medicaid. Essentially, no greasy money in greasy people's pockets. Section 44125. This section prohibits federal payment under the Medicaid or CHIP for specified gender transition procedures. Done. Transsexual shit is out. It was so yesterday. It's gone. This section defines these procedures to mean those that are intended to change the body of an individual to no longer correspond to the individual's biological sex, male or female, including specified surgeries, implants, and medications, example, hormones. It's gone. Can't get it no more. It's out of here. No longer Medicaid will no longer be able to fund for these procedures. W. I'm sorry if that ruffles feathers, but it shouldn't, because here's the thing. This is a choice. I don't care. I don't give a shit. By the end of the day, it is a choice. If you want to alter your body from what it was designed with, whatever, that is your choice to go through with those things. No government body or government assistance program should ever give people things because they choose to do something outside of the norm. It's not good. Let's see here. Genders. This section excludes procedures that are provided to an individual under the age of 18 with the consent of a parent or legal guardian that are intended to 1. Rectify early puberty, genetic disorders, or chromosomal abnormalities, 2. Reverse prior gender transition procedures, or 3. Prevent imminent death or impairment of a major bodily function. Okay. Interesting. I'm thinking about this sentence a little bit. This section excludes procedures. that are provided to an individual under the age of 18. So I'm assuming that it's mentioning this section, right? Which means individuals under the age of 18 are going to be in a different section. That's why this sounds a little funky, because like, wait, you're stopping the whole transition thing for Medicaid, but yet individuals underneath the age of 18 can do stuff? It's because it's not in this section. Section 44126. This section prohibits federal Medicaid payment for 10 years to nonprofit healthcare providers that serve predominantly low-income, medically undeserved individuals, i.e. essential community providers, if the provider 1 primarily furnishes family planning services, reproductive health, and related care, 2 offers abortions in cases other than that of rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions for the woman, and 3, in fiscal year 2024, received federal and state Medicaid payments totaling more than $1 million. Goddamn. Who's getting $1 million in Medicaid? I want some of that money. So essentially, so basically these nonprofit healthcare providers are not going to be paid for 10 years. Unless, so essentially what this means for abortion clinics, because I think those are private entities, 10 years of no funding. So essentially, if the abortion clinic is to conduct abortions, it's going to be even more money out of the general public's pocket, I think, unless it closes down completely. I mean, obviously they still want them around because other than the cases of rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions. So there you go. You can still get an abortion under those circumstances. Oh boy, how many more? So we got subpart C, subpart D. Okay, I'm probably going to stop at part 2, which is the Affordable Care Act. So we're going to get through this real quick. We're almost done with this. So this right here. Yeah. So. All right, subpart C, stopping abusive financing practices. Woo. Section 44131. This section requires states that had not chosen to expand Medicaid pursuant to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act prior to March 11th, 2021, to do so by January 1st, 2026 in order to receive the corresponding enhanced federal matching rate. So basically, get on fucking board or you ain't getting money. Section 44133. This section provides funds through fiscal year 2033 for the CMS to revise regulations so as to limit state-directed payments for inpatient hospital services, outpatient hospital services, nursing facility services, or qualified practitioner services at an academic medical center under Medicaid managed care contracts to the payment rate for services under Medicare, rather than the average commercial rate. For states that cover the Medicaid expansion population, payment is limited to 100% of the Medicare rate. For other states, payment is limited to 110%. So I guess not overpaying on things. I don't really know. Subpart D. Got the D. Increase personal accountability. Look at that, people. More accountability. God, I love accountability. This section requires, beginning no later than December 31st, 2026 or earlier at the option of the state, individuals who are eligible for Medicaid as part of the Medicaid expansion population to engage in community service work or other activities in order to qualify for Medicaid. Okay? Specifically, this section requires these individuals to, on a monthly basis, work at least 80 hours, complete at least 80 hours of community service, participate in a work program for at least 80 hours, be enrolled at least half-time in an educational program, or engage in any combination thereof for a total of at least 80 hours. Individuals may also qualify if they have a monthly income that is at least as much as the equivalent of a minimum wage multiplied by 80 hours. So basically, just to qualify, work. You gotta be working. And 80 hours a month? No, right? Yeah, 80 hours a month. Five times 4 is 20. Yeah, so 20 work days. So you got 5 work days. 80 divided by 20. So working 4 hours a day. Yeah, that's mega part-time. So even the government's not asking you to fucking break your ass to get Medicaid. Just work a little bit. Individuals who are applying for Medicaid must demonstrate compliance with these requirements for 1 month or more, as determined by the state, consecutively and immediately prior to filling an application. So, get to work. And then a month down the road, apply. Individuals who are already enrolled in Medicaid must demonstrate compliance for 1 month or more. So basically, if you are with Medicaid, you got to be working. Whether or not consecutive during the period between the individual's last eligibility determination and the next scheduled eligibility determination. Okay. Again, get to work. States must verify an individual's compliance upon a determination or redetermination of eligibility. It's hard to say fast, but must also choose to verify compliance more frequently. States may not waive the new requirements. However, states may choose to provide an exception for individuals experiencing short-term hardships, e.g., hospitalization. That's nice. There's some contingency there. Again, this really doesn't apply to really anybody per se. It's mostly senior citizens, in my personal opinion. The section excludes certain individuals from these requirements, including those with serious medical conditions and dependent children. Like I said, yeah. The section provides funds for fiscal year 2026 to states and the CMS to implement these requirements. Section 44142. This section requires, beginning in fiscal year 2029, states to institute cost-sharing requirements for individuals who are eligible for Medicaid as part of the Medicaid expansion population and whose family income exceeds the federal poverty line. Cost sharing may not exceed $35 for an item or service. Total cost sharing for all individuals in a family may not exceed 5% of the family's income. That's good. You have a cap on it. That way it doesn't cost too much money. The requirements do not apply to services for which cost sharing is already prohibited, such as emergency services, or to primary care, mental health, or substance use disorder services. States may allow providers to condition the provision of services upon the payment of any required cost sharing. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so this is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot. Because what this was titled, where's the title on this one? Where is the title? This is all under one fucking thing, under one title? No way. That was a huge title if that's the case. Because it was Pell Grants. Okay, so Title 3, Committee on Education and Workforce. Okay. Okay, Title 4, Energy and Commerce. So Title 4 was all through here. I don't think we went to Title 5 yet. Unless I skipped over it. This is crazy. Because we're talking about the FCC, and we're talking about greenhouse gases, and we're talking about schools, and we're talking about Medicaid, all in the same title. That's insane. But like I said, I want to stop here for right now. We're going to go to subpart B eventually. This has been long enough for today on all this. My brain is racked with so much information. Some of it, a lot of this Medicaid shit means nothing to me personally, so I don't really give a shit. But yeah, but some of it was interesting, especially with the EPA stuff. Just getting out of that global warming bullshit. But so yeah, I'm gonna stop here, and I'll probably get back on later and actually do some artwork, do the artwork stuffs, or do more of this. I don't know. I'm kind of ingrained. I'm invested now. Like, I can't stop. I'm invested. But needless to say, this is your host, Samurai KitKat. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you for everybody who came in to view the streaming. You're wonderful people. And of course, these videos will be available on YouTube later, so don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe at Samurai KitKat on YouTube. You have yourself a wonderful day. Toodles.